Hey, what up? It's your boy Nick here with episode 2 of Nick's Picks. This one's going to be super lax video because all in all, I have a mini announcement at the end of this, so do stay tuned. But I'm really happy about this one because I found a surplus of creators for this week's episode. Today we're going to be featuring 10 art doll makers. Some you've definitely heard of before and some you're going to be shocked you didn't. But let's get started with what is an art doll and how are they any different from a plushie. That's something I thought I'd address because on Discord, some people DM me examples of makers that were actually plush makers instead of art doll makers, so I figured I should address that in the video. Art dolls are very different from plushies in the realm that many of them are made on an armature wire base covered in either layers of sculpted clay, polyfilled fur, or even plastic moldings. It's basically the difference between a doll and a stuffed animal. Yes, dolls can be stuffed like Cabbage Patch Kids, but they're still considered dolls in the end. I will also be including some tutorials down below for anyone who is interested in pursuing this and potentially making your own. Number 1, craft a cat. Okay, so I'm physically not able to include the vast amount of examples and pictures I want to on this maker's creations. I am sure this maker has made hundreds of art dolls. It's impossible to if not by now. I love this maker. I've followed them for so long. If I actually had the money, I would actually get Luna made by this maker specifically. Please drop a list of alternative words for God tier because I'm starting to overuse that word and the thesaurus really doesn't help on that one. But this maker certainly feels like the first person most people would think of when you do talk about art dolls, so I do want to note that. Number 2, Uwu Bunno. This maker gives me Legend of Zelda vibes in every single piece they do. While being able to do chibi anime people and also sweet furry anthros, their style is solid colors, with my favorite being the Gummy Worms Sushi dog they completed. Oh my goodness, I want the character, I want the doll, I want it all. This character honestly looks as though they're all from the same video game and would make amazing character models in my opinion. I think it'd be so cool if they actually had articulated ones for modeling because that would be so cool. And every single piece, even though they've mastered their style, it's interesting to see how they keep improving. Number 3, Kazu Art Dolls. This maker does very nice things, very, very nice indeed. Just glancing at their profile, you can clearly see the lean towards science fiction elements and inspirations. I really love the astronaut they've made recently. It has an adorable attention to detail. But a lot of what is great that they've made are all these little dragons. I don't know if you've ever watched The Neverending Story, but these are very much fantasy / Alice in Wonderland vibes. And no, I'm not just saying that because they made an amazing Cheshire cat. But do check out this artist because the more I scrolled, the more variations I really saw. Each character was a different species and style. Some had mermaid tails, divine wings, angelic expressions. I honestly think this person is the kind of art doll you'd see when you think of like a Tinkerbell or a Barbie doll movie. On another note, I do love Barbie movies, so don't at me, okay? Next one, North Cat Creations. This maker, on top of making wonderful fursuits, makes adorable art dolls. They do very, very good work, and lucky enough, their commissions are open. They're a Finland-based maker, and I've grown to love the black eyes, or like darker eyes, because of how dilated they look. That's why I realized that I love darker eyes. That's the reason. It's because they look dilated. Found it out. It looks like when a cat looks up at you and they're like, "Oh my god, I love you," and then they pounce and rip off your face. But anyway, 10 out of 10, would love forever. Next one, because I forgot the numbers. Angel Tigress. You might be most familiar with this person for their awesome fursuit work, especially the circle they recently completed. So on top of amazing work in that regard, they create beautiful art dolls to complement their craft. Their art dolls look especially like little ferrets with their long little bodies and nubby legs. Each one can be curled up like a little cat, and they're simply precious. They're so noodly. and they've been making fursuits also since 2014, so that's also a cool bit. And I really love them, and look, this is a purple dragon ferret dragon thing. It's so cute. Look at him. Oh, there he goes. But this is a quick tidbit before the next maker. I want to take a quick minute to let you know that art dolls are often very expensive. More often than not, they're actually more expensive than plushies. Art dolls are incredibly figured posable pieces of art that take delicate craftsmanship and a numerous amount of skills for wire posing, sewing, airbrushing, painting, sculpting, and so much more to bring these creatures to life. So when you see price tags of $200, $300 or more, I want you to consider all that goes into them because often I do think it's taken for granted. Even with how beautiful art dolls are, I can see hate thrown towards makers with higher price ranges, but I hate to break it to you, when you actually consider all the work that goes into an art doll, 200 might actually be underselling themselves. And if you have the ability, consider tipping your commission makers, because more often than not, this is a very competitive market and they will lower their prices just to stay wanted. And that's kind of a sad thing to me. So if you have the ability, do tip your makers, show them they're worth it. But back to the makers. Poppets House. I wanted to introduce this one by just screaming, but my roommate's in the next room and I don't want him to think I'm crazier than I already am just yet. This maker is by far my favorite art doll maker, or at least one of my favorites. I honestly believe it's not fair to include my favorite. I do try to include slightly lesser known makers, but I feel like it's kind of unfair to not include this person because, oh my goodness, look at this. It's a crime against humanity to have this much talent. Their style is so perfectly smooth and kimono-like. I mean in the nicest way possible, but they look factory made. But like in the highest quality factory. Like the factory was made by God and then these came out of that factory. So basically these dolls are angel cousins. But that's as good as I can really go in terms of description. But at 25,000 followers, it wouldn't be a shock if you already knew this person, but their work catches me so off guard in so many ways I couldn't not include them. And next maker. I think this is I will admit, just having a regular name for your page does make it a little bit harder on socials, but the next maker is Chelsea Robertson. It's a beautiful name nonetheless, so, don't take my word for it. This maker does some stunning work. I mean that, with a lot of art dolls, most of them focus on the mythical fairy-like aspect of it, but this maker does an amazing job of capturing the inverse side of that realm. While so many focus on the cuter and sweeter aspects, this work has regal written all over it. Every creature has a majestic godliness to them, as though they were kings and queens of the lands they reside in. This maker is based in Texas, USA, and commissions are currently open, so do check them out if you're looking for something more refined. I don't want to say that, but I did. Or Prince of the Forest type vibe, I guess. Yeah, that works. I'm going with that. Number 9, I think. Worms and Bones. The one thing that drew me to this maker immediately was the snarling canines they do. I love these ones so much. It's very rare that you find a lot of art in general for the furry fandom that is not as happy-go-lucky, but their beastly faces are something that drew me to this artist instantly. The biggest thing I do want to say that I appreciate with this artist is their attention to different species anatomy. With many artists, you generally see a very similar look to a lot of their characters, and there's nothing wrong with that, Like, perhaps they all have the same kind of kimono nose, they have all the same kind of paw look, they're all kind of bigger, whatever. You eventually just kind of make your style, and you run with it. And this maker has done that, but somehow been able to perfectly make all the animals look like they're from the same world, but they're completely different animals. That's as good as you're gonna get as an explanation, because that's as good as I can think about it. But it's like their bears look like bears, and their birds look like birds. You'd think that'd be a lot easier to accomplish than it is, but it's not. Honestly, they're just really cute, and I really like them, and I really appreciate them as a person. And also, you should appreciate their ability to make scales and feathers and bones, because that should not be overlooked either. Now, this is number 9. Yeah, 9. I'm on 9 now. Litmade. With over 21,000 followers and counting, you might have heard of them. They are an absolutely amazing artist. Their eyes are so vibrant and charming. Honestly, it's the kind of eyes that you would imagine a Pokemon move would be. This is what charm looks like. Those eyes are so adorable, they have to have some kind of evilness into them. But you don't realize it. They're too cute, they're too nice. There's something that's not adding up over here. Beyond that, the tiny accessories are really what makes this maker, and they are also created in batches, so you can have a little hoard of them, which is really special to me. They have a lot of good witch vibes, but also kind of slightly not good witch vibes. The kind of witch that makes potions and flowers grow and the sky is blue and all that. Very honest and kind witch, I do declare this person to be. However, there's something slightly off, and I can't tell what it is. But they're a Russian-based maker, and you can find a lot of their work on Etsy. Lastly, so this is number 10, you can't fool me now. This is a lovely maker by the name of Bizarre Little Star. They make really cute pseudo realistic animal dolls. My personal favorite is their airbrushed ferret. It's got such a mischievous little look to it. It's just a cutie. If you've ever seen The Golden Compass, that's exactly what it reminds me of, is having like that little demon with you. I really love it. This is actually a style that I would really like to see more often. Because a lot of art doll makers, and makers in general, they do opt towards bigger eyes just because as a culture, we've kind of refined that as the cute style. Very few opt with this style where you have smaller eyes, which are more realistic, and they look more like they could be in the same world with you. And I think that's something that I really do want to see with more makers. But 10 refresher points to this maker. If you get that reference, I love you. But this pretty much concludes this week's episode. My question, as always, did you know any of these makers? Was I able to introduce you to someone new? And if so, drop their name in the comments. Or, in the inverse, did I miss anybody? Who did I miss? Tell me. Let me know their names. I want to be able to include them in a video because they deserve all the love in the world. And now it's time for the announcement, I guess. I originally put this at the beginning of the episode, but I put it at the end because I got nervous. I don't want to seem like I'm in this for the money. I'm really not. This is something that I've wanted to do for quite some time. I've wanted to be a YouTuber since Jenna Marble Age, 2008, I believe. I don't know. I typically spend about 15 to 20 hours editing. And when I say editing, I mean everything from the scripting to the final product. But all in all, I do that, I do filming, I do my own edits, I do backgrounds, thumbnails, and all that. And all of that takes a lot of time, and my friends kind of told me that I should value my time more. And I should also give you guys ways to support me in ways that everyone else does, I guess. So I started a Patreon. But yeah, I basically do everything myself. I do ask for you guys' help a little bit, but in general, I'm the one who has to go review the artist. I'm the one who has to go look up their information, gather all the pictures, and all that kind of stuff. And I'm no way trying to say, boo-hoo me. I love what I do. I really do. But it also does take time away from working. It does take time away from fursuit work. But it is just tips. I do want to stress that out. I just made a $1 tier, so you can, throw in a tip my way. You'll get access to the Discord, and you can talk to me, and you can talk to me about, videos and stuff, and, fursuit making. It'll be really cute. Yeah. But I just want to thank every single one of you who did like and comment on that video. Everyone who just watched this, even if you're watching now, congrats. What kind of attention span do you have? Depending on how it goes, I might open up some more tiers. If you guys are into it, I'm not gonna stress it super much. I just thought it'd be kind of nice. But as always, my name is Nick, and always remember, keep it simple.